So in the summer of 2019, you were still a fan of his, a follower. Is that fair to say?
I thought that he had information and was doing good things, yes, at that time.
You went to his seminars, you went to his conferences, you bought his books, you've messaged him on Facebook, you called him on the telephone, and you texted with him, right?
He contacted me on Facebook, but yes, the rest.
So you thought, this is some spiritual leader, I need to follow him. Is that right?
At that time, I thought that he was someone who could help understand.
And because you were following him, is it safe to say that other ladies wanted to follow him too?
That could be the case.
Like Lori Vallow.
Yes.
Like Melanie Gibb.
Yes.
Like Zulema Pastinas.
Yes.
The words of an insider. And of all the witnesses who have testified in this case, Audrey Baratiero is the one who admits she was a follower. So exactly how did Chad Daybell, the so-called Doomsday prophet, get her like under his spell? Take a listen from her own lips, from her own testimony. She describes exactly how Chad did this.
And Chad and Lori, in their prior life, Chad told you that that they were friends with Jesus and walked in Palestine with Jesus.
Yes.
And Chad Daybell told you that you were married to Jesus.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance and beyond the scope.
Overruled.
Yes, he did.
And so what was your name being married to Jesus?
He said Joanna.
Joanna? So when Chad Daybell told you that in a previous life your name was Joanna and you had been married to Jesus, what did you think of that?
At the time, I thought it could be true because I trusted him.
You thought Chad Daybell is telling me about my past. He can probably predict the future, too.
Yeah.
Because he was writing books about the end of the world. He was telling people who they were in prior lives, great people, not losers. And that gave you a feeling of, I'm somebody, right?
Yes.
Feel bad for her. Really do. Not easy, but she's being honest on that witness stand. Let's talk about this cult. Joining us tonight from Newton, Massachusetts, licensed mental health professional and cult expert and author of the book Combating Cult Mind Control, Dr. Stephen Hassan is with us. Also joining us from Burford, England, it's got to be late there, religious cult expert, retired police commander, host of the Profiling Evil podcast, and author of Deceived, Mike King. And from Los Angeles, senior reporter for DailyMail.com, Caitlin Becker. Caitlin, I'll just begin with you on, we're hearing from these members, and it seems a lot of ladies and Alex Cox are the ones that are following him.
There is a decided lack of men following Chad Daybell. It does seem to be one female after another, and then the addition of, I guess, the arm of the cult, which was Alex Cox. And I feel like his only connection really is through Lori. I don't know if he would be a part of this otherwise. And Vinny, I had the same reaction that you did listening to her testimony. I really did feel bad for her. She sounds sad. She sounds ashamed. And when you hear all of these things lined up, I can kind of see how she got caught up in this. She was asked by someone she admired to be a friend to Lori, and then she was told that she was special and she was seeking something, and he gave that to her and then switched it and then asked for her to be a part of their nonsense.
Dr. Stephen Hassan, let's talk about this fine line here, right? I mean, these were folks who were very religious, and then all of a sudden they're wrapped up in this cult. Is this classic stuff that we're witnessing here?
So I guess I want to start by saying I got interested in this topic because in 1974, when I was a college student, I was deceptively recruited into a cult myself, the Moonies, and I was programmed to believe that my family was satanic and that Moon was the Messiah and that World War III and Armageddon was going to happen in 1977. And I was actually brought with 100 other Moonies to see the Exorcist movie. And Moon said God made this movie. It was a prophecy of what would happen to us if we left. So when I got deprogrammed after a near-fatal van crash, I wanted to understand, how did this happen to my mind? How did I turn my entire value system, my family? I came to believe democracy was satanic and the Moonies had to take over the country and the world. What I started doing is studying social psychology, Chinese communist brainwashing, and here I am 47 years later, and we've seen many cult tragic murders and suicides over the decades. And this is a mini cult, but it's a prepper cult, and it's about fear of Satan and the end of days, and somebody who claims to be a prophet who speaks to heaven and channels things. And one has to understand, we're normal people trying to understand an abnormal cult. But if you step back and understand social psychology, you can see how their behavior, their information, their thoughts and emotions were manipulated to become dependent and obedient on Chad Daybell.
Let's take a listen to another one of the members who testified, but who has tried to distance herself a little bit more, Zulema Pastanez.
One of the things that they started saying to me from the beginning was that putting me in a position of being so special. You know, that Glory and Chad used to say to me often, you know, your mission is the most important one. We have to take care of you more than we have to take care of anyone else, because your mission is most important and more important than anybody else's. They always said that to me from the beginning.
Mike King, I want to focus in on one word here. They. She's not just talking about Chad Daybell, she's talking about they. So I understand what's happening at trial. Lori's attorney's trying to make her a victim of Chad's, but what are your thoughts about the way Zulema describes what happened to her?
Well, I think she fits perfectly the mold, and it's great to see Dr. Hassan, great to be out with Caitlin and you. The thing that's so important to me is the fact that here we've got her going in and saying, he offered me some position of greatness, because these are like-minded people. He's finding people who really want to believe and be something more than anyone else. And that's what it's all about in these cults, is having more light knowledge, more information than anybody else, special dispensation to do great things. And these cult leaders are so dang good at figuring out where our weak spots are and offering us something that fills a gap that says, holy cow, I am really important in this operation.
I want to take a listen to Ian Pulowski. This is Melanie's, this is Lori's niece's husband, the new husband who testified, not the one who was shot at, but her second husband, talking about some things that Melanie said, because she was supposed to testify in this case, but she said something that may keep her from testifying. Let's listen.
Have you and Melanie talked about this case?
Yes.
And Melanie made a statement to the prosecutor and the officer, the nail is already in Lori's coffin.
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay for this witness. He already indicated he was not in the room or present for any conversation.
So my question is, did you hear her say that?
No.
Is that what she said to you?
No.
Has she ever said anything like that to you?
No.
Have you said anything like that to her?
No.
But she has said it. Let's bring back in our guests. Dr. Stephen Hassan, this is someone who was an insider, very close to Lori. She lost her mother when she was young. Lori kind of stepped into that role in a certain respect. But here she is now at this trial saying there's a nail in her coffin. Can someone be deprogrammed from this just through this process of indictments and charges and subpoenas? Or does it take something more to understand where Melanie might be here at this point?
Well, so the main effectiveness of what is called deprogramming is really psychoeducation, understanding how the mind works and about social psychology and about how mind control is exercised by an authority figure on people. And many people that I've worked with over the decades said, I didn't stop believing in the pimp or the trafficker or the cult leader until the FBI arrested me and took me away from constant re-indoctrination with other members. And just getting away is step one of starting to reality test, but learning about brainwashing and mind control, which is actually in the DSM-5, the American Psychiatric Association's diagnostic manual, as a dissociative disorder. So think about, like, when I was in the cult, the Steve Hassan and the Mooney Steve Hassan. The real Steve was still there, but the program Steve was suppressing and controlling him until I had the chance to get away after the van crash. And then I surfaced, and that's when my family could hire former members and help educate me about brainwashing and mind control.
Absolutely fascinating stuff. Our guests are staying with us. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the inside workings of this cult and these castings that they were doing. On the next episode of Accomplice to Murder.
He told us that his father was buried at the mother's house. Their mother was buried in their backyard.
30 years in prison for testifying that his sister was a willing accomplice to murder.
They were going for the death penalty.
I believe that my sister killed him.
Was someone there to assist you in killing your mother?
Stacy, my sister.
Accomplice to Murder with Vanny Politan premieres Sunday night, 8/7 Central.
Only on Court TV.
The first thing is they were trying to cast out normal, like casting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they said, oh, no, it's still in there. Chad would deem it still in there. We can't get him out. They're breaking eternal law, right? This is what we're saying.
Okay.
They cast his personal spirit out and then put a new one in. So then they finally said, we got him out finally. Through our priesthood powers, we got him out. Now, who's the next one? Garrett? Garrett was the next one that came into Charles. And this was supposed to be a more advanced, darker spirit. This was Chad pretending more and more along the way, it's my opinion now. It's like he was just like, okay, that didn't work, but what can I come up with to keep Lori happy, right? And let me just figure this out and come up with, I don't know if he even played all the way through, because Lori was so pushy about being with him, and I think he was so infatuated, which you and I both know he was with her. I think he just got more creative in his darkness.
This is fascinating. That's Melanie Gibb, who was one of the insiders, Lori's friend, kind of saying Chad was trying to just do anything to impress Lori, and Lori wanted to get Chad. It's a strange dynamic. Let's take a listen to more from Audrey Baratiero, who is one of the insiders again here, talking about one of these castings. And these castings are taking place when a dark spirit has entered someone, and that person usually ends up dead. Let's watch.
And so when you're at the hotel and you're talking about this, what else happened in the hotel room?
People were just like kind of chatting and, just small talk kind of a thing. And then she brought up saying that she wanted to work on trying to get a negative spirit out of Charles. And, but actually, I should say, at first it was just like everyone started holding hands, and I didn't know what they were doing. And I thought maybe there was going to be like a group prayer or something. And so they all held hands, and I joined hands as well, thinking it was going to be prayer. And then she started talking, basically to say that she was going to try to get a spirit out of Charles. And each woman would say something. And then...
So what do you recall Lori saying?
I don't remember exact words, but things like knives and fire and like weapons that you would try to use to that kind of an idea.
Once again, it looks like Lori's taking a leadership role here. Let's bring back in our experts. Mike King, I'm hearing again that Lori is now leading this group of women here. I think he's frozen over there. All right, Caitlin Becker, same question. Looks like at this point, Lori is not following, she's leading.
Exactly what it looks like. And she seems to be leading a flock of kind of her own kind. So all of these women can see a bit of themselves in Lori. So of course they want to kind of parrot what she is doing. And you hear from Audrey's testimony that she believed that they were going to be doing some sort of group prayer or a prayer circle. And it turned out to be very fire and brimstone, Old Testament God, weapons, which really gave her pause. But what I'm hearing every time I hear about these castings is Lori and Chad ensuring that the people around them don't look too deeply into what will become the deaths of these people, because they're ensuring that these women all believe with them that they were zombies, that they had a demon inside of them. So it makes sense that they are no longer of this world.
Let's take a listen to more from Zulema Pastanis. Again, she ended up marrying Lori's brother, Alex Cox, the hitman here. Here they are. Here she is talking about JJ.
Did Lori ever talk to you, or Lori and Chad ever talk to you about how long they expected JJ to live?
Lori had said that he was going to have a very short life. And then in a meeting that we had at Lori's house in early August
of 2019,
he said that JJ was going to have a very short life, that he was going to the reason why he was going to live a short life was because he was going to come right back as Colby's child.
And to your knowledge, did Alex believe this?
Yes, but Alex believed everything they told him.
All right, I think Mike King is back with us. Mike, again, making predictions of premature deaths of people who are now considered murder victims by the prosecution. Are they doing this to get more power?
Vinny, this is something that I've seen over and again with cults, whether it's sexuality or now homicide, and that is they create these revelations that are going to support what they're planning. And, everything is created in the mind first before it's acted out physically. But knowing that this thing is against the law, that these are inappropriate kinds of thoughts, what better way than to say, holy cow, I would never commit crime, but God is commanding me to do this.
Dr. Stephen Hassan, let me ask you about what people actually know. Like, is there a way to tell in these cult situations someone who is a believer or someone who is trying to pull the wool over the eyes of other followers? Because that's the position that this jury has to figure out about Lori. I mean, did she really believe this stuff, or was she in on it with Chad and they're just trying to get these people to do all this stuff for them?
Well, as a forensic expert, I would need to have far more information that I've gotten in the public media to make a determination, but I can look back at other cases and situations and say that people, if they get indoctrinated to believe the person is speaking to God and heaven and start saying, you have a special mission. I think Lori was quoted as saying she was a spiritual warrior, and she starts believing that, then it can become a situation where she's influencing him, he's influencing her, and then the cult followers are caught up in whatever the leaders say. And what winds up happening when you're in this black and white, all or nothing, good versus evil, we're the light, they're satanic frame, turning over your power to someone else, terrible things happen. And I will comment that I've written my first book in 1988. I talk about the cult leaders want power, money, and sex, typically in that order, always power first, money second, and often sex. But it's very hard for the average citizen to look at a case and not think they're crazy or they're just cynical criminals who are pretending. But I do want to comment, there are tens of millions of Americans right now that believe in demonic possession and exorcism. And so the idea of saying, hey, there's a devil in somebody and we have to cast them out is actually part of current history right now in the religious world, in the United States especially. And it's very dangerous because people stop thinking about laws and rights and wrongs, and they're made to doubt their own critical thinking. They're made to doubt their conscience, and there's no reality testing. So people can be led into terrible, terrible things that they regret.
And it's interesting that you mentioned the book you wrote in 1988. I believe prosecutors must have read it because their opening statement, they said this case is about power, money, and sex. And we will
they actually
leave it there for
reversed the
tonight.
order. They said money, power, and sex. But yes, I thought the same thought. Oh,
wow.
They know my stuff.